following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Hey, welcome to another edition of the Filthy FRB show. It is Sunday, August 2nd. I'm FRB, joined as always by Filthy Tom Lawlors and his coach, John Wood of Syndicate MMA in Las Vegas. What's going on, guys?
Well, hello there.
Tom, or did I already mess up the Skype thing? Are you there?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I was waiting for John to go first. Gotta respect your elders.
Oh, ouch.
So, Tom, we had this counter move game on countermove.com. It's fantasy MMA. There was 500 spots. All of them were occupied last night for our game. So I just want to thank all the people that follow us on Twitter and listen to this show for signing up for the game. It's fun. I saw a guy tweet me today. He's like, I didn't care about any of the fights other than Ronda, but this game made the entire fight card interesting.
Yeah.
So
it's not the first time all of our slots have been filled either, Brian.
No, but I think there were only 200 slots in previous. And this, yeah, I know where you're going with that. So we had 500 this time, but so that was quite possibly the worst plug ever in podcasting history. But I never claimed to be a professional at this. But the reason I wanted to kind of unpack what happened, about a week ago in Chicago. Tom's return to the UFC, big knockout, and wanted to get John's viewpoint as your coach, Tom as a guy who actually did the work, and then the fan, me. So I know some. I guess we'll start out with John. John, tell me a little bit about your background. How did you start Syndicate? What is your background, and how did you link up with Tom?
I've had the gym for about 13 plus years now. Actually, it's been named quite a few different things. I've started originally as a Las Vegas Combat Club with Ricardo Perez back in the day, one of the original gyms and MMA gyms in Vegas. And then as the MMA boom kind of hit, it had gotten renamed. When I was younger, got into a car accident, and back in the day, all the training gyms and facilities were always located in just shitty parts of town and stuff. So with that money, I kind of approached the guys, my coaches at the time, and said, hey, let's, what do you think about opening a gym in a, nicer neighborhood so parents, kids, can come and we can start, building this into something. So I just always was in love with the UFC since day one, and I knew it was eventually going to do something. So moved it into a nicer area, and the MMA boom hit, and through that I was able to pick up some sponsors. Like back in the day, it was Zion's Training Center for a while, Throwdown Training Center, Warrior Training Center, basically anybody that would give me money to fund my gym to put the name on it, which was fine. But I've had it all the way through, and now Syndicate's the final landing spot, and that's my gym name, and it's doing real well, and it's been awesome.
What was the inspiration for Syndicate? It's kind of
I don't know. I mean, the meaning of Syndicate is just kind of like a badass gang, basically. Like, wanted to start my own MMA family team type thing, and it's just a group affiliation of just badass mofos. So I thought it was a cool name, and ran with it. And so far, it's been phenomenal. It's been a great experience. We're sitting now in a almost 17,000 square foot facility in Vegas, and just got a lot of young, real talented up and comers, and then some of these old vets like Mr. Lawler there, and we're just kind of attacking it at both ends and getting some of the veteran guys in there out winning and bringing up, helping them. They're in turn building the program and helping the veterans are helping the younger guys. It's just a real good mix of people, man. Real good environment, real great gym, a lot of talented guys. Obviously, being in Vegas, we have a ton of talented fighters out here and coaches and stuff. So we're real lucky and fortunate.
So, Tom, I know that you've told this story to me and a bunch of people. Your struggles, your injuries, and you were out for 2 years.
Sexuality.
What's that?
Oh, struggles with the sexuality. I thought you were.
Yeah, there's always
I
these rumors.
I thought you were going there. My bad. I'm sorry.
There's always these rumors because he's friends with Seth Petrozelli, which is very odd to me. But so, Tom, for the people that don't know, I mean, you were up against a lot the last couple years, and it was a tough road back. So, just kind of summarize it. Why didn't you fight for 2 years?
Brian, I was hurt.
No, I know. I know the story, but I have to ask these questions so that the people that don't know.
I was hurt, and then I got better. I tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus in a fight. Actually, Michael Kuiper tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus in 2013, April of 2013. Then I was rehabbed and ready to go against Ilir Latifi last July, and then I retore the meniscus, so I had to have that scoped out, and then after that, it's been another year.
So, John, when did you take over as Tom's main coach?
Well, Tom came in about 6-7 months ago. Kind of wandered into town and. Just saw him. He showed up one day at the gym, started, training on the mats he was there with Vinny Magalesh and working and doing some of that stuff. And it's just one of those things. As he kind of showed up, hung around, we just started talking, and it was real quick after we, had our first conversation about, our love of poetry and fine wine and things like that. We knew it was just kind of things kind of started really meshing well, and after a few long walks, we just decided that, everything kind of worked out together.
I've been trying to shed this image. Because of Seth for fucking years. And now you're coming at me with here?
No. But
just
Tom,
talk about that.
Tom, showed up at the gym, and it was one of those things where we have a real good atmosphere at our gym, and we don't have any egos or head trips or assholes or anything like that, and everything is kind of a big family. And right off the bat, it was apparent that Tom kind of fit in with us. We got a real fun-hearted gym, and he falls right in line with that. So it was kind of one of those deals where he just kept showing up, and decided he was going to stay in Vegas. So, basically I offered him a job as, coming on as a coach and helping the younger guys. And his coaching abilities are awesome. So it fit real well with and all the younger guys and the guys on our team, even the older guys, the veterans. He came in right away and was helping, Pyle with some fight stuff and a lot of guys. And you could see right off the bat his knowledge of the MMA game is phenomenal. So it was a real cool thing to have him come in and start helping as a coach and just doing the stuff. It just fit real well. And then there wasn't even really talks of fights. He had kind of I don't even think at that time if we knew or if he knew what he was gonna do. But the fight got offered, and then obviously I offered my assistance to whatever he needed from me for pads and stuff, and then we just got in there in the pad work, and it's not like when Tom came to the gym, he was already a very, very good fighter, and a lot of his style and his stuff, counter fighting and things, really, something I'm good at and meshed with. So we were able to start working on the pads and start working some game plan stuff, and it just, like I said, all the pieces fit and it came together. And I think this, we only technically were working for a few months before this fight, so I'm really excited to get back to the drawing board and actually start even growing and doing more together. So it's this next one's going to be fun.
Now, Tom, about 4 or 5 months ago, I mean, I don't even think you were convinced that you were ever going to fight again. It was kind of up in the air. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, it's a pretty fair assessment. Let's see, what is this month? It's the 8th. Probably was about 5 months ago that I figured I probably was going to fight again. Once I started getting in a little bit better shape, started doing more MMA work. Obviously I got in better condition, and decided that, well, hell, I got nothing else going on and I need the money, so I'm gonna get back in there.
And kind of, John, I don't know if you're aware of the story, but it was Tom was having a hard time getting a fight. He was kind of frustrated he wasn't getting a fight. So I'm in New Jersey at the Rockhold versus Machida fight. That was April 17th, I think it was, in New Jersey. And just a chance meeting with Joe Silva, and I said, hey man, Tom Lawlors been trying to get a hold of you. He wants a fight. He wants sometime in the summer. And Joe's like, oh, he wants a fight? I can get him a fight. And right there, I said, well, would you talk to him if I called him up right now? And those guys talked and they worked out the details. But I don't know if you had heard that.
No, I mean that was for the first go in the UFC.
No, that was April 17th of this year.
Oh, for this last thing. So, okay.
Yeah, so they started. You can, Tom, you can interject. I just did the general. So you got to start talking with Joe and.
Yeah, there's not much more to the story, man. He called me up and asked me if I wanted to fight, and I said, yeah.
But Tom,
as good a time as any.
Tom, this is where you're supposed to say, well, Front Row Brian saved my career. This is where you're supposed to put your.
I'm worried you're going to end it somehow.
Yeah, that was he served you up a nice lead in to give him a really good compliment, Tom.
Yeah, he totally didn't take the bait. Oh, and the other funny part, man, I was hammered when I was talking to Joe. But he kind of knows me by now,
Speaking of which, John, before we came on the air, well, actually we were recording before, but Brian was talking about his hatred of. We won't use the guy's real name, but
some jobber.
So, yeah, some guy who's definitely cray. Chicago.
Did this guy piss you off too, John?
Interesting. That's all I have to say for that. Very interesting.
Well, I mean, he was trying to help the local economy. Some of the people on the street, try to move some.
Yeah, that was one of the more interesting people that I've met there, and I'd really be okay with not ever meeting him again. But
and that was the reason I got all pissed off. We were at that Mother Hubbard's bar. It was like, I don't know, 3:30. This guy, I got so pissed off, I just fucking left because I was just like, man,
we didn't name this guy's name out loud, right? He's not the
no.
Okay. Yeah. I heard about the same story within about a 30-minute period. He told me the same exact story about Tom about 8 times, and then I believe he sexually assaulted me. I'm not sure, but I feel like I could press charges on what he did to me and the way he touched me and was in my personal space.
So John, here's what he did to me. I'm looking down at my cell phone, just looking at some text messages. So my head's down. So he comes over, he pulls his shirt out and puts it over my head. Okay? So my face is directly on his sweaty chest. And I shove him, and I later learned that this guy has fought a few times, so he's tougher than me. But I fucking shoved him. I said, "Get the fuck away from me!" And I was legit pissed off, and I was like, "This is bad news. I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm going to do something."
Ryan, have you looked at the YouTube link I sent you?
Let me pull it up now,
because that's exactly what I envisioned.
Let me pull up if that's the.
John. Do you remember the scene from Along Came Polly, where?
Yes. Oh yeah, where the basketball scene.
Yeah. That's exactly what I envisioned.
I'm watching it now.
Was a fun guy, but
that I'm watching the clip now. That's what it was. So, and then of course we had our friend Chris from Iowa, and he put up a picture. I guess he's my friend, and I brought him along, and he had about seven beers in that picture that he took with you, Tom. Do you remember, Chris?
And you guess he's your friend? You don't know? Did you know him before this weekend?
Yeah, funny thing. I actually get recognized in public sometimes. It's the weirdest thing. So I was at a fight about 18 months ago, and he just comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, front row Brian," and then that was the second time I ever met him.
You know, and you guys hit it off. That's actually kind of how John and I got started. But he left that part out.
Yeah. So
You didn't want me to add any more to the story of how we got started, Tom, so I just backed off it. I'm sorry.
So the training camp. Who came up with who? How was it structured? Was that all you, John, or how do you handle it?
Well, the first time when you work with an established fighter already for the first time, like a lot of it is us, feeling each other out. Yeah, no homo, but it's just kind of seeing what Tom likes to do, interjecting what I like to do, and coming as collectively with a plan together. And because my goal is when I start taking on fighters and coaching them is not to completely change one style, just improve in the areas, figure out what that style is and how to make it better and more effective. So it was just, watched a lot of tape on Vellante, watched all of his fights, and, kind of got Tom's idea, input on it, and it was very, very similar to what I thought. It was very cut and dry. We knew we were going to go out against a big dude, big, strong, athletic guy who was going to throw bombs the entire time. You're going to get a bunch of, huge kicks. I think he kicks more than he punches, and when he does punch, he throws hard. But one thing we looked at is, the cardio. We know Tom's got some of the best cardio, I think, in the division, and he's not going to get tired. He can go 3 rounds hard, put that grind on. So everything kind of went as we expected. Our plan was to not stand in front and trade with the guy too much, and move and kind of sucker him. Like I said, Tom came to the gym with some really good counter fighting skills, and that's something that I try to preach to everybody is being able to counter fight along with going forward. So we just sharpened up, worked those game plans. We knew that when Vellante would throw hard, he was open for punches and counter punches. Chin comes up when he comes forward. One thing we didn't counter, we kind of figured that we'd end up being kind of that first round would be a grinding round up against the cage, and that's one thing that Vellante did really good. I've watched every one of his fights, and when you went after him or through, he would back straight up to the cage, and it was kind of easy to get him on the cage. And that's one thing him and his guys really improved upon, was just holding the ground and kind of they weren't about to let Tom, or he wasn't about to let Tom bully him, So that was kind of a thing where it's like, oh, okay, that changed for sure. But everything else went according to plan, man. And I thought we would end up, truthfully, somewhere second, third round getting a submission. But we were ready for whatever. Tom was ready for whatever came. And that's kind of, I never try to over game plan against a fighter, because you never know. My thing is I look at, when I go to study for fights, I look at my fighter, his last couple of fights, and try to figure out, okay, if I was the opposite coach, what would they be coaching him to try to do? And I try to improve those things with my guy. And then, lightly game plan around, because, dude, we all know shit can change. Anything can happen in a fight. So
Sure.
You can expect a stand-up war and you get taken down right off the bat. You never know anymore. There's no such thing as a guy who's just, he's going to straight. Well, there's a couple of them, but there's you're going to get straight wrestle fucked, or, whatever the situation. Like, it could go anyway. Guys get knocked out all the time from pure grapplers, pure grapple, guys get submitted by other. It's crazy. So I never try to put a game plan together so much that if it doesn't work, that the fighter's sitting there, pissing in the wind saying, oh my God, I don't know what to do, because I've seen that happen a lot. So we just looked at the glaring, things that were standing out, and try to work that game, and it worked real good. And it was basically, too, we knew the ring rust at the time from having Tom out of the cage, just getting in there and feeling comfortable. My thing was to make sure that he just felt comfortable, where he didn't have to run out there and try to take the guy down, stand up, and Tom's got great stand up, great timing. So I think as we go moving forward, wherever the fight needs to be, he'll be a complete fighter to handle it.
So Tom, how did Vellante feel? Were you like, this is what I was expecting, or did, the jump moving up to 205 because even Brian Stan said that, all the guys are strong guys, but he said that you're a notch above normal as far as just from a pure strength. Did you feel Volante was heavy in there or hard to move?
There was very little like grappling action, and like John was saying, he was taking the center of the cage a lot more than he usually does. I mean, he did land that takedown on me. That's why I don't kick. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously he's a big dude, and we didn't get into too many grappling exchanges. When we did, it was kind of like collar tie and uppercuts and stuff like that. So tough to tell in that first round. Plus, I would say a little past midway through the first round, I saw him how much energy he uses and expends with like every strike he was throwing. If you look at the fight metric of the fight, Brian, it says like, I don't know what his percentage is. It's like 31 strikes landed out of 55 or something, right?
Right.
And then it says power strikes landed, and it's 31. So every single strike that he threw was like, trying to take my head off. And I could just see him getting a little bit slower. And after he caught the kick and kind of tripped me up, I figured like, okay, I'm probably down in this round unless I go for something and leave myself open and do something stupid. I may not, I might give away this round. So I started moving outside and staying outside his range, and he was still swinging hard, still missing everything. And when he went to walk back to his corner at the end of that first round, you can see, I mean, he's already breathing with his mouth open and stuff. So, I thought right after that my chances were real good.
How did you feel? Did you feel a little winded? Because this is your first fight in 2 years. Was it?
I don't think so. I don't think I was winded at all from what I remember. I mean, John has a better view outside looking in, so maybe he knows.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was any. I think any of the stuff that would have been on, as far as affecting maybe the adrenaline dump, there's no way that I didn't see Tom slowing down at all or any kind of. I just don't think that's in him. Like physically, he doesn't have that thing where he's not the type of guy that's going to gas out in a first round or whatever. And we really anticipated that. That was another thing with Volante, is we knew that he slows down considerably after the first round, but continually he'll go 3 rounds still throwing as hard as he can. Every punch that comes, that guy is dangerous, and that's, like I said, one thing we were just trying to make him miss those punches, get tired and get into it and keep grinding on him. But no, I don't feel, when Tom came back to the corner, he was still alert, still whatever. Everything was good to go. I didn't feel at any point in time. And to be honest, I knew that first round was going to be kind of a pick 'em round. It could go either way. Going into the fight, even before, I figured that would be Volante's round, or a tough round to win. But past that, I knew we'd get into the fight, and Tom can keep that level and keep on the gas the entire time. So that was, that's, I think, one of his really, really strong points. So
Sure.
No, I don't feel like cardio was any kind of thing for him.
So Tom, mentally, how did you feel? Because you had even said to me, you made it like, hey, I'm fighting for my job. I lose, I'm gone.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I view it all the time now. There's no telling what tomorrow holds, Brian. So, I'm prepared. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to beat somebody's ass for a few more years. And, who knows after that. But I basically just view all these fights as do or die now.
I don't know, John, probably you were around Tom more than I was, but you were a little ornery the week of the fight, Tom.
Yeah, well, hey. So sometimes I'm getting old at the right time, I guess.
At first you're cutting a promo on the Reebok employee. They turned down your entrance song, and then you had a little dust up with a media member, and a big, well, I shouldn't say his name. Our New England friend was like, hey, yeah, he's a little ornery this week, man.
Yeah,
we were trying to calm you down a little bit.
What do you want, man? It's all part of my elaborate plan. Don't worry.
But but you seem so calm though.
Stop laughing. This is no joke, man.
So I mean, I thought in the big scheme of things, I thought Tom was actually quite pleasant to be around. I'm around weight cutting fighters every week, every weekend, and I'd give him a solid, B plus, A minus on the attitude range. I mean, dealing with all the media bullshit and all that kind of crap, that's just like standard. I don't think anybody likes to really do that shit and all the stuff that's been going on. But as far as like personally, that was probably one of the easiest, well, if not the easiest weight cut I've ever been around. So
It's the best weight
yeah,
cut.
right. I still got to try to figure out how I can get everybody to do that. But yeah.
So John, how close were you to saying to Tom when he had the staph infection, "Hey, I need to pull you out of this fight"?
Dude, I mean, I didn't think it was going on. I mean, I had several conversations with people outside the gym that were asking me. I was like, dude, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. So I think when he went in, one, the infection itself will make you feel like shit. Two, the antibiotics make you feel even shittier. And the thing is that it kills the infection, but then you've got a residual effect for a solid 7 to 10 days usually on that stuff. So just doing the math, we were looking at it, and I'm like, fuck, there's just no way it's not going to happen. And, also, if he's got this giant open sore, even after, we're not going to be able to train. It's just impossible. But I really don't think it was as bad. I think, honestly, there's no way, that it was half as bad as they had originally said, because when the thing finally popped and came out, it was, disgusting. But it was
just a really bad zit.
Yeah, shit. I almost think it was kind of like that. It might have been a nasty ingrown hair that, because I've never seen anything heal up that quick.
So just to give the people the timeline, when did this happen?
About 3 weeks before the fight.
5 weeks, right?
I think it was 3. I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks. I think.
Because I remember from talking to you, Tom, you didn't really seem concerned. I mean, maybe that's just your personality. You don't sell it. But you didn't really seem all that concerned. But it was a major fucking big deal. I
don't know. I think he's pretty concerned with the fact that he had a fucking testicle hanging off his chin. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, now I should go back and tweet out those pictures now. I think I left them.
Yeah.
But
he was rocking a Peter Griffin chin there for pretty. It was nasty.
Dewey Griffin.
Now that's something like if you can't train for a week or so or 10 days, and you have to cut what's that?
Can't train. I was in bed. In bed for like 8 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But let's just say that you had to cut to 185. Being in bed for a week or whatever it was, you can't make that cut, or can you?
Yeah, well, actually, it really cut down my appetite because I wasn't doing anything. So I lost a few pounds. During that course of the week. So maybe everybody should get a staph infection.
That's part of the new diet. I'm gonna write a new book with Tom called Cheeseburgers and Staph: The Way to Cut Weight.
Now, I heard, Tom, the last time that you went to 85, you started puking a green substance. What is this, like the Great Muda?
Yeah. I was spraying it in people's faces. I was looking for Sting. I was going to get back my TV title.
So it was that bad. Like you felt like death the last time at 85.
Yeah. I know we're planning on having Tim Burrell from Tim Burrell BJJ on in the future. And if you think I'm old and salty, wait till you get a load of this guy.
It was really nice to meet him. He's really a nice guy. It was really nice to meet him.
Yeah, he's the man. Well, when we get him on, you can ask him about how I looked because I felt like shit. So
the promo with Rogan, was that off the cuff, or was it something that you had prepared?
Chain is what that was. That was off the.
It was off the reservation.
Because I thought you delivered it well and all, but I don't think anyone's ever said that you were a joke.
Oh man, dude, that's all I get from people.
You've been in the UFC for 7 years and you're 6-4. How many guys stay employed with the UFC for 7 years? It's got to be less than. It's tough. Put it that way. I'm not going to make up a stat, but.
Okay.
So what was the inspiration for that promo?
I'm sick of people thinking I'm a joke, Brian. What do you want? I'm no joke, man.
So you didn't answer, but was it off the cuff or was it prepared material?
It was slightly prepared. I had some bullet points going in.
Now,
I think that last right cross Volante through kind of fucked the speech up, but
so yeah, I mean, you were telling me about Volante backstage. He was just very gracious in defeat, but he like came up and congratulated you like 3 separate times.
Well, we were in the back
because he forgot like you had rung his bell that bad.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it much at first. We're sitting there and he says like, "Hey," we were just having chit chat. And by the way, this guy's great. I like talking to this guy a lot. He rode like with us on the way to the airport the next morning. We talked for like a half hour. I missed the last 2 fights basically because I was talking to him in the hallway. So he's a fun guy to talk to, and we were just talking in the back, and he congratulates me, and then we're watching Joe Lozon versus Gomi, and then he kind of like acts like he just saw me and like, oh hey, and congratulates me again, stuff like that. So. Yeah, and then he almost like fell out of the cage after the fight. So
yeah.
Because one of my friends, we're in the bar and he's talking to me. He's like, "Congrats! Oh, great job!" This is the guy who was doing his best Just Bleed impression while I was doing my interview on TV. He's saying like, "Hey, great job, but don't you think it was stopped a little early?" And I'm like, "Oh, you're my fucking friend, man. Get out of here." So yeah,
a lot of people ask me about the stoppage deal. The fact is that just to clear that up, if it would have gone any more time, I mean, yes, it could have gone 2 or 3 more seconds, but you can clearly see by the way when Volante got up, and I mean he wasn't there and was gonna. And if you watch the video, I mean his eyes were closed on the way down, and that's what referees and people are there for, is to protect the fighter, not that it wouldn't have gone any other way. It might have been a submission or whatever, but you don't need to do it anymore. When someone drops like that, anytime anybody in a fight usually gets folded where they fall like that, the fight's going to get stopped. It happens all the time, and that's it's on the referees. That's their job to make that decision, and it's got to be a split decision. Sometimes they screw it up, sometimes they don't, but I don't think that was a bad stoppage, by the way.
Sure.
John, you kind of sound like Joe Rogan now that I'm listening to you.
Dude,
not to laugh, but there's some.
If you want me to go full Rogan, I can.
Oh yeah, but don't offer something like that if you're not going to do it.
No.
So we're up against a little bit of a time thing here. Tom has to go to some medieval times bullshit.
Tournament of Kings, asshole.
Tournament of
Really?
Kings. Who's hosting this distinguished event?
And I didn't even get invited?
Arena.
Oh, they have an arena there, huh?
Excalibur Arena hosts it every single night, yeah.
Dude, and you didn't even think to ask or tell me about this? That's a little hurtful.
Come on.
Bro, I've been to that like 3 times before. Are you kidding me?
What do you need to go again for?
Why wouldn't I need to go again? That's the question.
I'm saving up. I know you got limited nights out, so I'm saving up.
No, that is true.
Saving up for puppetry of the penis.
That is true.
So, John, has Tom gotten you into professional wrestling?
No more than I was. Like the funny thing is I grew up like that's kind of my segue into MMA. Is from the time I was, 5 years old. I loved pro wrestling. Loved it. I mean, I'm more of the WWF generation than WWE, which anything 80s, early 90s, love. Totally into. I can rap and bullshit about all that stuff. The new stuff, it's too much soap operas. It's just too much. I feel like I'm watching an episode of the Kardashians when I watch that shit now. So I'll click through and run through, and every, I don't know, maybe once or twice a week I'll stay on the channel if it's on for 10, 15 minutes just to see it. But I think I know more about women's pro wrestling now because my wife watches that amazing Divas show. So
it's amazing, man. My mom watches that, and my mom's never watched wrestling in her life, and I don't think she liked that I watched it as a kid, but she just allowed me to. but she loves Total Divas, so she's always asking for updates on John Cena. Is he going to marry that girl?
And what girl isn't asking for updates on John Cena?
Right?
Yeah.
He's so dreamy.
By the way, rest in peace, Roddy Piper, one of my favorites
Yeah.
of all time. That was actually really bummed out about that. But yeah, so
Yeah, it's a shame, man. I think he had 4 kids, and one of them, Cult's about 24 now, but when he was 19, he was at Team Quest, and he was up in Oregon, and he wanted to be a fighter, and he fought a couple times, but I think he got thrown in there against some guys that were too good, at that point, and he just wanted to get out of it, but he was the guys in the gym loved him, like Chael and Linlin, and I guess Randy had already gone to Vegas at that point. But yeah, and I think he's got another daughter that's like a freshman in college or something. Just a terrible situation, I said on Twitter, one of the downsides of getting older is seeing all your childhood heroes die.
yeah, oh shit. I think I got like Brutus the Barber and Hacksaw are the only ones left.
Well, somehow the Iron Sheik is still alive. How the fuck does that happen?
Yeah, but whose childhood
fucking
hero was he?
Yeah, no. I was gonna say no one
Well,
fucking
that's
likes
true.
the Iron Sheik at all. If that motherfucker dies, who cares? Whatever. Now it's just funny because he's crazy, but no, I mean,
Damn.
like, no one liked the Iron Sheik. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
So yeah, to be honest with you, the Iron Sheik as a wrestler, I didn't give a shit about. The last
did.
The last decade with his crazy antics is what made me a fan.
I mean, I would say 90% of the people only know him from Twitter. No one watched that shit. I hated the Iron Sheik as a kid.
Yeah, and he wasn't. I watched his matches, and like he didn't look like he was a legit. I mean, I researched it thoroughly, and I asked people at Minnesota Wrestling Club. Alan
He was
Rice,
a wrestler.
he was the real deal.
Yeah.
Greco-Roman national champion, and he would have gone to the '72 Olympics as a competitor, but he wasn't a citizen of the United States. He was the best guy in the country at that time, but he just couldn't go. But yeah, all right, Tom. So we'll again, congratulations. It was this is a great comeback story. Amazing, really. Going up a weight class and you knocked the guy out.
No, I'm not going up a weight class. This is what I weigh now.
Well, you went from 80. Your last appearance was at 85, and then you went up to 205. That's what I was referencing.
Yeah, but this is my weight class.
Oh, okay.
Like he owns it,
Yeah.
and he is not joking about that either.
All roads lead to Lawler. So what is next? I heard a rumor. November 7th, there's an event in São Paulo, Brazil, headlined by Dan Henderson and Vitor Belfort. Do you want on that card?
I don't know. I don't know about Brazil, man. It's kind of scary down there. If they throw a ranked opponent at me, though, I'd be happy to take it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd like for your next fight to be in Vegas, or if that show in Dallas, if that stadium show in Dallas, that'd be a pretty fucking awesome show to be a part of.
Yep. After this next win, my plan is UFC 200, win a bonus there.
Yeah. All right, you got to go to Excalibur. So, hey,
Arena.
yeah, appreciate joining us, John. And how do people get some information on Syndicate and contact you on Twitter?
My Twitter is Bigwood MMA on Twitter, and Bigwood MMA 79 on Instagram.
His website is www.meatspin.com.
It's meat stick, dude.
Meat stick, okay.
Yeah, and then Syndicate MMA, syndicate-MMA.com is the website about the gym if anybody wants to check out the gym when they're in Vegas.
And that gym, that's for all ages and skill levels. Is that right?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a very small percentage of people that actually want to be fighters. So I have like 600-700 students at my gym, and I think out of that, 50 are actually fighters. So we cater to the masses. Yeah,
600 or 700. Wow.
Yes, sir. And we start from kids all the way up 4 years old and up to senior citizens in there. So we have good weight training facility, full size cage, 2 mat spaces, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, strength training, everything you could want. One-stop shopping center of mixed martial arts.
All right. Well, that's John Wood, owner of Syndicate MMA, and you got anything to say, Tom, to kind of wrap this up and get you going?
No, but I think I'm going to be sitting in the French section tonight at Tournament of Kings, so go France.
All right. Sounds good. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take
Talk
care.
later.